Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this, your Leo, July 2025 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel St. James, clairvoyant. Well, a very interesting deck for you this month, probably one of the best ever developed, in my opinion, the Thoth deck, which has a stack of interesting esoteric imagery in it, which I'll point out a few things with my pen. And that's thanks to the artist, who was a woman called Freda Harris. Now, Freda Harris was married to a British politician, and as it seemed to be the case in those days, I don't think he spent a lot of time with her, if you know what I mean. He probably had a bit on the side, or a couple. And so, to console herself, she would find, well, what else might be of interest to me? Now, she's very talented artistically. And she ran across this guy who she thought was quite exotic, being Aleister Crowley, who is credited with the development of the deck. Well, of course, he was held back. He had the handbrake of heroin addiction and opium and coke and whatever else that was going around. Anyway, he basically lived off the generosity, I think, of ladies like Freda Harris, who's a superb artist and who is the real heroine of this deck, and she doesn't get as much praise as she should do. Now, you know, as a clairvoyant, that I provide clairvoyant readings to you wherever you may happen to be in the world, over Apple FaceTime or Google Meet. Google Meet is so simple to use, you know, and I charge for those. The details are in the description. Now, also in the description is another thing which I offer for free over FaceTime or Google Meet, and it's a gift of healing. And there is nothing sought in return at all for that. It's completely free. There's no catches. It's my spiritual duty to provide it because I got it at birth. They said, you, nothing special about me at all. I was the one that got pulled out of the barrel, it seems. Maybe there's a few others as well. Now, there are no video advertisements breaking their way into this content, and so you get to enjoy it without any interruption. So let's see what there is going on, shall we? The what? Three of Wands. Great thing for you. Lots of sun energy there. There's the Tower. I love that. Here is the Prince of Cups. Very interesting. Here is the Two of Cups. Venus and Cancer. I love that. And here is the Fool. Well, why don't you come and sit down here next to me? I'll also bring the camera around so that everybody else can see. And you and I, anyway, we can have a look at the beautiful images that this woman has painted on these cards and see what they reflect of the cosmic energies swirling around you now, and I'll do the reading for you. Right, let's go through these together now, shall we? And why don't we start with this? This is calling upon you, I think, to love yourself. You'll become attractive. Love, new beginnings, a direction, and some changes as you go through this new direction. Let's unpack this, shall we, by looking at this really great painting. Now, I'm getting a lot of Libra and a lot of Scorpio around here. Libra is the cardinal sign of air, and I notice that the prince esoterically is in air, and Scorpio is the feminine and fixed sign of water, and we are also in the suit of water here. Now, I think that the main job of this prince here is to master dealing with emotional needs of your own in particular, and also the needs of others. Now, air, Libra, as I see it, in the context of water, well, that symbolizes a strong passion and strong passions and the physical expression of them, just as the astrological sign of Scorpio does as well. Now, the coach that this character is riding along with here, it looks like a seashell which is drawn by an eagle. Now, interestingly, the eagle is the exalted form of Scorpio. Scorpio, you may know, has 3 stages. The first stage being hard, like icy water, ice, which is the scorpion, hard shell. The second stage is fluid, liquid water, as the snake. And the third and exalted or spiritual aspect is that of the soaring eagle, that of the air. So it's been drawn by this eagle of Scorpio here. And what's interesting is that this coach is driving above the waters of the emotions, but it never touches it. So your wishes and desires, I think, need to be understood and recognized, and you should recognize that they are fundamental driving forces in your life. And it's only possible to use and to control them if you are wide awake and alert. And instead of suppressing them, you can use them in the process of becoming more aware. And when seen in this way, they really become a vehicle which helps you journey into the world within. Now, what also is going on in this painting here, there's so much going on in this Frida Harris deck, which is why I put all these handbags around there. She's a woman, and women generally like handbags, particularly if they're Louis Vuitton or Chanel or something like that, apparently. Now, this snake, which is coiling up from this cup here, that is saying that this is a symbol of change and wisdom, and it is awakening you. And this eagle, which is on the prince's helmet, I think it hints at the possibility of, well, what I would call spiritual liberation for you. The realization of all of these possibilities really is a task that really still lies before this character, and in a sense, maybe you as well at the moment, because he is too engrossed in looking at the snake, and he really does miss the lotus blossom that's around here as well. But as he learns to integrate the driving forces of desire, then the lotus, which is pointing downwards at the moment, is for you going to turn around and come up again. Now, of course, these courts can be of either gender. So this could be a female, even though it's described as being a prince. And in this time, you might appear calm, but I think it could mask a passion and an intensity within you, which could make you volatile. You've got a lot to offer, I think, and you'll have an immense ability. But make sure that you follow through on your words. You might also find that this is a time when you feel that the main responsibility that you have is to yourself. Certainly, the greatest love affair that you will ever have in your life is with yourself. And sometimes I think it might be that you find that you are really quite, I don't like to say it, but I think I must, secretive and hiding your deepest desires. You'll have great insight into other people's lives as, well, let's face it, you have lived, haven't you? But I think in summary, with respect to this central energy here, it's saying that you should accept your physical needs and passions and live them out with awareness, because you will discover a lot in the process. Give yourself totally to the experience and observe yourself in it, and ask yourself, what secret wishes are you unwilling to admit to? I think now might be the time to put them into action. And say this to yourself, I now live out my physical desires because this makes me more vital and fulfilled. But you do turn that lotus around so that it's pointing up, because here, what do we see? Well, I'll get this card here, and look how great this is, because both of these glyphs are above the painting. Here we have Venus in Cancer. Venus is the most receptive of the planets, and Cancer, of course, is the most receptive and nurturing of the signs. You know, if you love yourself, you become attractive to others, and your receptiveness towards yourself prepares you to give yourself totally to someone else. And then a deep emotional exchange is possible, because here I see the giving and receiving of overflowing love. And this union will occur in complete harmony, I think, which is symbolized by these two intertwined fishes here. Now the cups, they are filled and overflowing, symbolizing the overflowing emotional riches present. This really is an image of complete joy and silent ecstasy. The water is still and the sky clear and blue. Deep joy, which is the yellow aspect here, it's flowing into the emotions, which is the water, and the energy, which is this green. It just infuses both of them. Your thoughts are free and clear. Seen through the eyes of love, for you, the world is going to appear really quite transformed. Very happy relationships, close bonds, togetherness, and love, and a relationship that is strengthening. Now, I did say that you were going to embark upon a new course of action, and this is indicated by this really rich, esoterically rich card here of the Fool, who is the one who walks without fear. So you will conquer fear here. And this is a time of great openness and trust, where you'll be ready to take a risk. You'll have the courage to stand your ground. Freedom and independence are very important to you. Huge levels of creativity with you. The possibility to really take a massive leap forward. And you'll be living in the present. Maybe taking a leap of faith. Now this Fool, just to look at the picture of it here, this is represented by the god of spring in the ancient Greek mythology, Dionysus. And the green color of this god reminds us of the powerful creative force of spring. And this crocodile, which is sitting down here, that also is the bearer of the greatest creative powers. Now look at this thing, this cord, which is spiraling around and around like an umbilical cord. It's connecting you to cosmic oneness. And it's wrapping up in 4 spirals here. Now, if I can look at this first spiral and have a look at this. This is really in the shape of a heart, isn't it? And it stands for an emotional rebirth with you and the recognition, understanding, and acceptance of your true emotional needs. This second spiral's got a couple of things going on. First of all, here there's a dove, which speaks of, well, I think vulnerability and sensitivity as being requirements for loving yourself and also for others. And that would include you also having the courage which you have now to say to situations or people, no, I don't want to do it. The relationship, if it's unclear, don't get involved. There's a butterfly I can see here. That means transformation. Of course, a caterpillar becomes the butterfly. And down in this third spiral here also, there are a couple of little children down there, two naked children entwined. And I think that what I see from their presence in the painting here, this is bringing the realm of relationship into the picture. The quality of your relationships with family, friends, business associates, and deep emotional bonds must be re-examined and re-evaluated. With which people do you really want to have around you? And this fourth spiral has got this tiger and the crocodile with it. Now, the crocodile, I think, is telling you just get busy with your creative abilities. And just see it down here, this rose, this little pink rose that's sitting there, I think what that is saying is it's talking about the unfolding of your creative powers. Now, of course, crocodiles have really powerful jaws, don't they? And so this means you'll have great endurance and leadership qualities, as well as the ability to work independently and self-sufficiently. I think it's also saying that it's possible for you to break through old, worn-out conditionings. Now, this tiger that's there, and you can see it vainly trying to bite the figure, well, that symbolizes fear. And here, Dionysus is repeatedly bitten by this tiger. But where's he looking? He's continuing to look straight forward. He gives no attention to fear because it has lost its power over him. The tiger can't injure him at all, and his unshakable faith in existence, just like you, will allow fearful feelings to come around, but without you becoming their victim. He is liberated and able to be receptive to peak experiences. Now, I notice that the Fool has in his right hand there a crystal and this flaming torch going on in his left. What would they be? Well, I guess they're alchemical symbols and show the meeting of opposite forces which create the energy to transform and the energy for this quantum leap to take place. There are grapes here which speak of fertility, and it's time for you to harvest as well. And these coins which are here on, let's make it clearer for you, these coins which are on the right there, well, frankly, I think that, well, they're all engraved with astrological symbols, and they reflect the overflowing wealth on all planes, which comes when you now give your creative energies full power and permission to unfold. Now, what might also just be of interest, look beneath his legs here, or between them, there's a cluster of flowers, 3 flowers that are there. I think they also refer to the body, the mind and spirit, which will be combining with you to provide receptivity and a willingness to learn. And the blossoms below, they just bloom. And this sun, which is conveniently placed above his genitals there, that symbolizes the creative and transformatory powers that are released by the expending of your basic physical desires. Now, I think that really what's happening here is that you really are now ready for a new beginning, perhaps even, as I say, a quantum leap. So give in, dare to leap. There's nothing to be afraid of. Trust the voice from within your heart. And maybe ask yourself this question: what is the tiger of fear for you? And how do you imagine the courageous leap into the future? What does it look like? Where does your heart call you to go? And say to yourself, I am a radiant being. I am a living treasure. I honor and value the unlimited resources which are within me. I respect the nature of whom I am. There is nothing to fear, and I now follow my heart. I am open and ready to go wherever it may lead me. And I suspect that you really do now have the direction in which to head in your emotional and in your physical life, because look at this here. And again, the artist has done a good job on this. Here it is the sun in Aries, as we see here. Now what I see here is honesty, self-confidence, and no compromises by you. And the sun, well, that's exalted in Aries, which is really good. And Aries suns are happiest when your life is moving forward. So I do think that you are going to be busy and pushing things forward. Your ideas are going to be crystallizing. This is a confirmation that you are on the right path. Maybe there's an expansion of business, or you might be thinking about whether or not a hobby you have might become something of a revenue-generating side hustle. Now, the three wands that we look at here, they have got these lotus blossoms, which are in the process of opening up. And this blossoming is the result of an inner awakening, which has started with this. And your body, intellect, and spirit, now, they are in harmony. And out of this state, and integrity crystallizes, which is not going to permit any lazy compromises. You see, you will understand and put into action your power which you have, and you're not going to give your power away to anybody, but the center within you. See, these three wands come together here. They, despite this external activity, which is being displayed by these flames and squealy things here, your center is going to remain untouched and clear, and reflecting on this point of internal stillness. That's also going to allow a new sense of self-confidence to come into you. And it's going to guard against an overload of any unnecessary problems. Now, there is a wisdom within you now that's way too strong to permit any anxieties or doubts which arise to get into you. In fact, any brooding or over-analytical considerations of your intellectual mind, they don't stand a chance when you are filled with this life, energy, and vitality, which is represented by this orange. Now, I think without any question, this is a time to take action. Now, pay attention to your own point and internal stillness and center yourself and overcome. Now, surely there are no reasons now for self-doubt, are there? Do you still doubt your virtues and strengths? Say to yourself, I have the power and the knowledge to reflect, to know, and to press on to love, success, and abundance. But along the way, there's a few things going on. And that's this. Well, the Lord of the hosts of the mighty. Now, naturally, during this process, you will find that you go through quite some far-reaching inner transformation, but there's a great degree of healing here, healing from old wounds, healing from a hangover from old relationships, because the old is now being destroyed to make room for the new. There's a renewal here and self-knowledge. There's a release, a breaking down of old forms or patterns. Now in this painting here, we can see that the power, now I'm just looking at this Hebrew letter here, that is pei, and that means mouth. And here is a big mouth here, which is bringing this fire out there, which is undertaking all the purification that's going on here. And do you know, the power of that purifying fire is going to destroy the old and sweep it away. Nothing is spared. The tower of unhealthy things within your ego are going to be shaken to the very foundation. And anything that you attempt to cling to, well, is going to be destroyed by this transforming power. The apparent securities that you thought were real in the past have begun to waver and topple. And all that remains is trust, the knowledge that all events in life arise from the endless love of the beloved and bring you now the possibility for learning and self-recognition. Now, this understanding of the true nature of people and events around you, well, that's going to change even apparent losses or painful disappointments into the valuable gifts that they really are. You see, even times of desperation or inner tension, when you understand them, they can become the most fruitful, growing phase of your life. This is one of the highest cards for healing. Now, there's this, you won't fail to recognize this huge eye there. Well, that's speaking to me of an awakened consciousness, which is allowing you to actually see reality as it really is. And this dove, which has got an olive branch with it, it symbolizes compassion towards yourself, as well as to others, which arises out of self-knowledge. It also symbolizes that which remains pure and whole throughout, the essence of your very being, who you are, from which all can be created. So you might find, having gone through this process of leaping in the direction that you're in the midst of, or about to go into, an extremely intensive change process. But whatever is destroyed or shaken within you is going to purify you, heal you, and make room for something new. So allow it. And are you ready to view yourself and life with new eyes? Say this to yourself: who I am is a belief to be undone. I have the ability to heal and restore myself at all times. I am not inside my body. My body is inside of me. And I know that in my life that I chose before I came here, that everything will turn out for the best. What a fantastic spread of cards for you. Made so much better for you being here.
Fantastic. Well, unless I see you in the meantime, either for a clairvoyant reading or for a healing, then I'll see you here again next month. And remember one thing, until I do see you again, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next month. And until then, it's bye for now.